giving me like I hear it after I say it, and it's pretty delayed. So it was coming back through my speaker. So I just have to turn the YouTube volume off. Um, but I couldn't get there. There we go. Okay, there we go.
All right.
We are good to go. We had little technical difficulties today, but we are good for today. Want to welcome the community. Welcome everyone to today's Winning Women Wednesdays. So excited
Yeah.
to have Kim Martin. I don't know if I told you, Kim, I'm originally from Chesterfield, Virginia. So
Okay.
representing Virginia today.
Nice.
But it is definitely a pleasure to have you. Kim Martin is the CEO and founder of KLM Scholarship Foundation. Her foundation provides book scholarships to get Virginia students.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me some amazing stats, even in the midst of COVID-19. So I would just want to let you tell more about your foundation and the great things that you all are doing in Virginia.
Sure. Thank you, ladies, first of all, for having me
Of
and
course.
having me on your show. And so with my organization, the KLM Scholarship Foundation, the KLM represents my initials, Kimberley L. Martin. And I did that specifically so I could communicate to others that if I'm able to do this and give back, then anyone else can. Hopefully, and it's hopefully to inspire others to give back to the community in whatever way they think would be helpful and impactful and speak to their hearts. But with our organization, our business model is pretty simple. We raise funds annually to support Virginia college kids who are struggling financially, and we provide book scholarships. Over the years, we've given away nearly $400,000 in book scholarships. Last year alone, during the COVID pandemic, and of course, we
That's
still.
amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And during the pandemic, even in the midst of a pandemic last year, we were still able to give away $59,000 to help 57 Virginia college kids. And so that's what we do every year.
That is so good. So, again, so I'm just listening to you talk and just hearing the actual numbers, but how do you do something like that? Like, what goes into raising that much money? And that's such a selfless cause. So I know that there's time and investment into that. So can you just tell us a little bit about what goes into that?
Sure, you're absolutely right. You nailed it. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, lots of hard work. And I don't do it alone. I have a wonderful support system and wonderful volunteer team who helps every year. No one is paid a salary. We're all volunteers. So we just figure out what it is that we're going to do to raise the funds, and then we just go about doing it, and we work together, we collaborate, we come together as a group to talk about things, to strategize, to talk about where we are in the process, and just do it all over again.
That is so
Annually.
amazing. Yes, definitely. So, with your organization, you target on to helping college, or I guess high school kids get money, or even if you're in college, you can still go back and get more money through K through M, KLM.
That is correct. You absolutely right. So we help students between 17 years of age and 22 who are in college. So you can be a graduating student or graduating senior headed towards college, or you can already be a college student. That's our target audience.
Yes, and I would say that you were referred to us by another winning woman, actually winning women that we had met or had interviewed. Just speaking of your accolades and all that you do, and how much you're impacting the Virginia school systems or college systems. And so, what I really want to know is, so of course we can go on your website, we can find out about all the great things that you do, but why we have you here today is because, like you said, you use your initials, because if you can do it, that lets other people know that they can do it. So just a little bit about your journey, because of course, you know that Tasha and I are the co-founders of Peace Bridge Consulting, which we specialize in creating spaces of peace for women, right? And I'm thinking, I have a 7-year-old, Tasha has her son, a 5-year-old, and they're growing up. And I can only imagine, I know how hard it was when I went to college, having a single mom, having to navigate the system, not really feeling like I could afford college until I learned about FAFSA and grants and things like that. So I can only imagine as a mother how helpful this service is, because a lot of times we think we can't send our kids to school because we can't afford it. But
correct.
Just help us and help the other mothers and women, or even if you're not a mother, just a person going to school. How can this help us, or your journey with helping other people on this road?
Yes, and so you bring up a really good point. And when we say we're looking to help students who are struggling financially, that can be anything on their journey, right? So we've helped students who are, disabled or very well able. I'll put that, because that's not an obstacle, right? We also have helped students who have maybe had two parents and one parent has lost their job. That's a major financial impact. We also have helped students who maybe they only have one parent and then that one parent is unemployed. Whatever the struggle is, we want to be there and we want to help. And what we found is that after you take care of that tuition, room and board, which is the bulk of the money, right? Then sometimes families forget all about how expensive textbooks are. So that's why we decided to go after textbooks, because depending upon your major, your curriculum, and depending upon your school, your book, and if you have a double major, you could have face a bill up to $1,500 per year, right? Or maybe more. So whatever the financial struggle is, that's where we want to say, hey, we're here, we can help.
I know I'm doing all the talking, and only because I think Tasha may still be having some feedback stuff, but I know she asks really good. Look, we're peace inspired, right? She's our peace inspired question asker. Tasha, are you able to chime in, or is it still real bad for you?
I am. I'm back and I'm good.
Oh, good.
Jessica knows me so well, because that's one thing that I was definitely thinking about. Because in the beginning, you definitely mentioned how much work goes into really any organization, but as a nonprofit, and you called it blood, sweat, and tears, but the work that you have to put in. So how do you make sure that you are maintaining some sense of peace in your life, and how does that factor into what you do?
Good question. Because no matter what we do as women, we need to find time to rest and relax, right? I'll be totally honest and transparent with you ladies. Because I love what I do, I don't get enough rest. But I'm making it a point to fit it in. So like, say, for instance, I went to the day spa last Friday. Today, if I can wrap some things up, I may go to the beach for a little while. This coming weekend, and that's Virginia Beach. This coming weekend, my husband and I are going to go to a beach in North Carolina. So I'm really trying to learn from my past mistakes and not taking care of me, because if I don't take care of me, keep my peace and keep my health going, I can't help anybody else, right? It's like that, it's like that thing when you're on a plane. What do they tell you? Take your air, put it on first before you help the person next to you. So that's a very good question. It's important. I struggle with it. Who knows how long I'll struggle with it, but at least I know it's important. I'm trying to get better.
Absolutely. And I may have missed this in the beginning, but how long have you been involved with your foundation?
For over 18 years.
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
Yes, for 18 years. This November, it'll be 19 years.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
a huge milestone. What kind of encouragement can you offer to anyone else trying to get into the nonprofit realm, or even information if someone is interested in getting into the foundation or getting a scholarship from the foundation?
So when it comes to starting a nonprofit, I always recommend to people first, because there are millions of nonprofits. So first I'll say to them, make sure that what you want to do is not already being done. And if it is already being done locally or where you are, instead of starting something from scratch or duplicating what's already there, support that organization, right? So that's what I always recommend to people. But if they still decide to start a nonprofit, they need to know or understand that it will be sacrifice. Um, People forget that a nonprofit is a business. You still have to bring in money if you want to give out money, right? It's just like a for-profit organization. If you don't have sources of income coming in, you don't have a business, right? So I always tell people that number one, make sure it doesn't already exist. Number two, treat it as a business because it is. Do your best with it. Be serious about it because it really is. Things just don't happen. And make sure you have a good team that's behind you. And as far as those who want to take advantage of our service, we have a social media presence on IG, Twitter, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. And we always make sure that we're posting that we're raising money, number one. And then number two, this is how you can qualify for and apply for our book scholarship.
I'll be honest. Okay, so when we do these, we're so transparent. I feel like we're being very formal and very interviewee-like, and that's okay. Because I want people to get certain information. But when we come here, I want this to be a safe place for women. And I'll say, I'm just listening to you talk, and you're traveling and you're doing all these great things, but you've also been doing this for 18 years, right? Mm-hmm. 19 in November. And I'll say, Tasha and I started, it's been about two going on 3 years ago that we met and our dreams started coming. But I also have other things like a nonprofit organization as well. And I'm just listening to you talk and you just sound so calm about it. And you're like, yes, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But I don't think people really realize, especially from a nonprofit level, because you're right, you're not generating a normal income. You're not providing a service where people pay you for that service. And I think you said something, so you've been saying a lot of gems and a lot of key things, but your support system, right? Your team that you're able, I imagine, of course, help me out with this, but you're only able to leave and go to the beach and spend time with your family and your husband because you have a team that when you leave, things continue to go. And, I think we overlook that just being a leader and being a CEO is that you have to put the right people on your team because if not, then you're doing all the work and you're human and you're going to fall at some point. So please let everyone know how important that is to make sure your team is on point.
Good question, because I'm a praying woman. I believe in God. And the only reason why the organization has been successful is because of the people, right? They say if you want to go fast, you go alone, and you want to go far, you go with others. But if you go with others, you need to be in alignment. And you need to be in agreement because you don't want your others be rowing to the left and you rowing to the right. And so I actually, when people come to me and say they want to volunteer, I do ask them, go pray about it and come back to me. Wow. Because I only want the people that God sent. Because otherwise it's going to take my peace away. And it's going to take my team's piece away if someone is introduced to the group or the mix and they're not supposed to be there, right? So true. Right? And so it's important to me to keep that level of peace because every person comes into your life to teach you a lesson, reason, and a season, right? But everybody doesn't come into your life as supposed to be a business partner.
There you go. Yep, that's so
you
true.
You got to understand and know where people belong in your life. They don't know. They think they may belong in a certain area, but you as the businesswoman have to discern, pray, whatever it is, meditate you need to do to know whether or not that person is for you.
And that's so key. That is so key because, again, on this journey, we're meeting so many people and bringing along so many people. And that's what we do, right? That's what we're here, is to provide resources while we're doing this. So, because we want to partner with you and maybe not physically partner with KLM. I want to support and volunteer at some point. We'll talk about that offline. But, that's why we're here, to provide resources. And so when you're saying those things, I actually had this conversation this morning. When you say, I want to be a business owner, I want to be an entrepreneur, you don't realize sometimes that I came from corporate health. So when I had an issue with a computer or HR person or personnel problem, I could put in a help desk ticket, or I could call HR. Now I am the help desk. I am HR.
You are everything. Person. You are everything.
And it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's so amazing to see other African American women, just women in general. But when I say I have a special place for African American women, because I see the obstacles that we come up against. I experienced them firsthand. And so knowing that a nonprofit has also been in business for almost 19 years, that's another milestone. And that's why we have you here, because you're winning, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot. That is a lot. And I'm so proud of you. And I say this in the most humbling way possible, because women like you are who I like telling my daughter about, because I'm like, you don't have to be a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer to do great things, or you don't have to be a model or a social media influencer.
Right.
You can do something as so humbling as being a nonprofit organization director or CEO, owner, founder, and help people, just like others, right? So this is so amazing to hear your story and what you're up against and the things that you put in place to stay running up for 19 years.
Yes, because it takes every day, every hour, every minute, week, and year. And just, and one thing I can say, and I would recommend this to women who are looking to start their own businesses, don't feel like you have to be everything to everybody. Find your niche. Find your lane and stay in it. Because for some people may look at us and say, for 18 years, y'all been doing the same thing. This is our lane. And we know our lane.
And it works.
And it works.
It works.
Now, don't get me wrong. As a businesswoman, you should always be considering what else you want to do to take it to the next level, or to do things different, right? So I wouldn't discourage someone from not exploring or discovering options, but you got to know what works for you, right? And so we are considering, one thing I will share with you guys, during the pandemic, one thing that we branched out into and started was a pilot to start helping our scholars with attaining job skills. So what we did was we employed one of our scholarship recipients, gave her an internship. We couldn't afford to pay her. That's the next step. And I've been having some conversations about that. But we were able to give her a job in the field that she was interested in, that helped her get another full-time job. So we really are moving in the workforce development space to be able to do things like that. We're not rushing head first. We're taking it slow because we want to be thoughtful about it and make sure it works, and it works for us. Because what did I say earlier? Don't do something that somebody else is already doing. So if, with this pilot that we're taking on, if it works well, if we can keep it going, we will. Otherwise, we'll outsource it to someone else who does workforce development.
That is so good.
Yeah, you think about, because I remember when I was in school and wondering what's next, so I think the idea is amazing, because a lot of times when, especially in today's world, once you graduate from school, just trying to find that job to get started. Yes. So many places want experience, or it's a challenge to get into. So I think that's a great piece to add to what you're already doing.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We're hoping to definitely help again with our students.
Yeah. Amazing. So with all that being said, and all the hard work that we know that goes into being a business owner, and just being a woman in general in life, and as you even brought up, being a God-fearing woman, having a spiritual life, What could you offer as far as some peace-inspired advice to women? Because we already know we got to grind. Like that's like the no-brainer, right? When you're a business owner, you have to grind. And you kind of hinted on it earlier in the conversation, excuse me. And you said that, you have to be mindful and put yourself first. But what piece of advice would you give to other women just to make sure that they're keeping their peace and being mindful of their overall well-being?
So there's, of course, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health, right? There may be others, but that's what I focus on.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the physical health, you got to take time to exercise, right? You got to keep your body strong and make sure that you're doing those things that are going to energize your body and keep it going. From your mental health, you have to do those things that I mentioned earlier. You have to go to the day spa. You have to go to the beach, whatever it is that relaxes you and gives your mind peace. And then your spiritual health is whatever that may be. For me, it is, I believe in God. I'm a Christian. So with my spiritual health to keep me going and keep me inspired, I don't go to church every Sunday. I go to church virtually every Sunday now. But prior to that, I was physically there every Sunday that I could. I really missed because that's what gave me the inspiration to keep going. Because no matter who you are in life, you're going to run into obstacles, right? And you may even feel like you want to give up. Or you may even, run into people, places, or things where you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, right? You may feel overwhelmed. So for me, my spirituality is what I need to get over those humps, because those humps come along, right, in the road, or bumps in the road. And so I recommend to your listeners and to you ladies that always take care of those three things, because if you don't take care of those three things personally, there's no way in the world you're going to take care of others. So again, keep your body strong, keep your mind strong, and keep your spirit strong, however that whatever that means to you.
That's so good. It seems so simple, right? But it's so important. It's so important to make sure we are doing those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, it has been such a pleasure. Like, I will be honest, I'll say, the groupies trying to get in contact with you, right? Because we saw the great things that you're doing. And, from with Tasha being from that area, it was even more personal to her, because she's like, I'm in that area. And she's like, I really want to connect with her. I really want to connect. And we know that you're doing such amazing things. We know your time is very precious. And so we just want to say thank you for allowing us to be on your calendar.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And just being able to share with our viewers and our community the resources that are out there, because a lot of times we just don't know. And if we don't know, and that's honestly what our platform is to get awareness out, to let people know that even if you don't have if your organization if you're not in Virginia and can't benefit, one, try to maybe connect with other organizations that are local to your area. But hey, if it's not already being done, there is room at the table, and you can actually make your own table with your own
stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. That's important. Mm-hmm. That you made a very good point. Make your own table. Because that's what ended up happening with me. I saw this and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We were actually given your name. We interviewed with the fitness dogs, and Addie and Kim.
I love them. They're so supportive. I really admire and love what they're doing, and I consider they're my sorority sisters. We all belong to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and they are very inspirational to me and have been a support to me, and I just love those ladies.
Absolutely. And then
they spoke very highly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what's that, Jessica?
No, I was just saying that they spoke very highly of her when we spoke to them as well. So, and that's again what we want to do, is just be able to connect those dots, because we don't have to go find new people. We have people in our circle that we can uplift and support, and like you said, just be there and be a part of other organizations. So I love this. It just fills my heart when we have these kind of conversations.
Good.
And we definitely want to connect with you to see how we can help and volunteer with your foundation, even if it's when needed. So
Yes.
we will connect with you. We're going to make sure we have all of your information in the comment section. So if someone has more questions or wants to do more research on your foundation, look into it. We'll have all those platforms down below. Before we leave, I cannot go without just making sure that the world knows that you received the 2019 Governor Northam Outstanding Adult Volunteer. So I think that's amazing just to be on that level, to know that we already know you're doing great things, but then to be recognized for doing your great thing. So
Thank you for saying that. It's definitely an honor and a privilege. I really am. I never thought that would happen, and I just, never did I even go after it. So when you do what you're supposed to do what God says to do, wonderful things come along.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kim. I had a question for you. Do you have children?
No children. I say God knew what he was doing. He wanted me to help these Virginia college kids because he knew if I had my own, I'd just be helping my own.
That's amazing. I don't even know if I mentioned it to you before, but my family, we do a scholarship every year to
Oh, nice.
a high school student in Stony Creek, Virginia. So my family is from Stony Creek.
Uh-huh.
So once my grandfather passed away, as a memorial, and annually we do a scholarship. And so we try to, as long as they're in school, we continue that for the whole 4 years that they are
Wonderful.
in school. And, it's not much, but it helps. And so,
Yes.
yeah, so every little bit helps with school and higher education. So I again just commend you for what you're doing and the help that you are doing in the community in Virginia. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, ladies. I appreciate the time.
And you're so beautiful.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest. Like, I see
Thank
your
you.
pictures on your website, and I don't think they're old pictures, but I'm now seeing you in person, and I'm like, oh, she is. She's so beautiful. So I love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, if you're able to make it to the beach today, look, we won't hold you up, so maybe you can go to the beach.
Yeah.
Please enjoy, recharge your battery, and we are here. Again, like as Tasha said, we're going to get your information. We'll definitely feature you on our website.
Okay.
And when we hear of kids and people in Virginia, we will be sending them your way to see what you can do for them.
Okay, sounds good, ladies.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you all for joining us today on Winning Women Wednesdays, where we highlight women who are winning, and we try to help everyone to get on this winning path. Whatever that looks like for you, we're here to help. So continue to stay tuned and increase your peace with Cole and Trees.